Have you ever stopped and wondered if just being a good, honest person actually pays off in the end? Well, today we're diving deep into that very question. We're going to do it through this timeless story about a poor samosa seller named Shamu, whose life is just this wild roller coaster of hardship, kindness, and some really surprising consequences. Let's get right into it.
And that question right there is at the absolute heart of this story. Does pure, honest, hard work always come out on top? Or are there other, maybe less noble forces that get in the way? It's a tension that plays out in business and, just in life. So let's keep that in mind as we meet our main character.
So, our story kicks off, like so many do, with some serious hardship. This first part is all about introducing our hero, Shamu, and the really desperate situation that's going to push him to make a single, life-altering choice.
Okay, so meet Shamu. This guy is the definition of hardworking. He's living a simple, honest life, and his whole world really revolves around taking care of his elderly mother. His only income? It comes from the firewood he gathers and sells from the forest, day in and day out.
And then, of course, disaster strikes. A brutal storm rolls in, making it impossible for him to gather wood. And to make things so much worse, his mother gets seriously ill. With no money for medicine, Shamu is pushed to his absolute limit. He's got no choice but to go to the one person in the village who has money, the local moneylender. The deal he gets? It's brutal. There's no sympathy, no kindness. It's just a cold, hard transaction. The moneylender, Seth Gopal Das, sees Shamu's desperation not as a reason to help, but as a chance to make a profit. And with that one decision, Shamu is now trapped in a cycle of debt. Okay, so with his old job gone and this massive debt hanging over him, Shamu has to make a change. This next chapter is all about a new beginning, one born from a super simple idea that sparks a little glimmer of hope. The idea actually comes from his mother. She's the one who points out that everyone loves hot food when it's rainy, so hey, why not try selling samosas? Shamu takes the very last of his borrowed money, and together they pour all their hope and energy into this new little business.
You can just feel the optimism here, right? With a basket full of fresh, hot samosas, Shamu heads straight to the market. He really believes his hard work is about to pay off, that he can finally start paying back that debt, and maybe, just maybe, build a better life. But the market has other plans for him.
And boom, this is where the real conflict ignites. Shamu's honest effort isn't met with cheers, but with pure jealousy from a competitor who's already there. A guy who sees him not as another person trying to make a living, but as a threat. So you've basically got these two opposing forces. On one side, you've got Shamu, who's driven by survival and just trying to do the right thing. And on the other side, you have Hamu, the rival seller, and the moneylender, Seth. Both of them are totally motivated by greed and keeping their power. Their goals could not be more different. And this is how Hamu decides to fight back. He doesn't compete fairly, no way. Instead, he hires a couple of guys to publicly humiliate Shamu on his very first day. They walk up, buy his samosas, loudly announce that they're disgusting, and then throw them on the ground for everyone to see. His reputation is ruined before he even makes a single real sale. This is rock bottom for Shamu. He goes home completely defeated, his dreams shattered, his tiny investment gone. But it gets worse. The moneylender, Seth Gopal Das, shows up that very same day to demand his payment. When Shamu can't pay, he and his sick mother are thrown out of their home, right onto the street.
But just when you think it's all over, the story takes a turn. This next part is about a small act of kindness, something done in a moment of total despair that ends up changing literally everything. This is really the heart of the whole story.
So picture this. A hungry old man approaches Hamu's stall, asking for some food. And what's Hamu's response? He just dismisses him, angry that he was interrupted while counting his money. It's just this moment of pure cruelty that really sets the stage for what happens next.
And then, that same man finds Shamu, who has absolutely nothing. He hasn't sold a single samosa, he's been humiliated, and is now homeless. And yet, without even hesitating, he offers the man all of his unsold food. It's this incredible, selfless act of kindness, right when he himself is at his lowest point.
So the old man, who you start to suspect is more than he seems, gives Shamu a gift in return, a little pouch of a rare herb. But what's really fascinating here is that the story doesn't frame this as just a lucky break.
It's presented as a direct reward for his goodness, a tool that will only work when it's used with good intentions.
All right, Act 3. This is where everything changes. Armed with this symbolic reward for his kindness, Shamu's fortunes are about to turn around in a huge way, leading to a conclusion that brings justice for everyone involved.
And the change is, like, instantaneous. The herb gives his samosas this irresistible aroma and an amazing flavor. He goes from selling out every single day to opening his own little shop, and then within just 1 year, he walks right up to the Seth and repays his entire debt in full.
The market just does a complete 180. Hemu, who used to have a total monopoly, is left with practically no customers. Now, everyone in the village is lining up for Shamu's delicious samosas. It's proof that quality and goodness actually won. Turns out, customer loyalty isn't permanent when something better comes along.
Hemu, as you can imagine, is just fuming. But instead of learning from his mistakes, he doubles down on his greed. He spies on Shamu, figures out the secret of the herb, and in the middle of the night, he steals it, thinking he's just stolen the shortcut to success.
But here's the twist. The herb doesn't work that way. The outcome is completely tied to your intention. For Shamu, who used it with kindness, it made his food incredible. For Hemu, who used it with pure greed, it made his samosas bitter and disgusting. And in a final fit of rage, he knocks over a lamp and his entire cart goes up in flames.
And just like that, after losing it all, Hemu finally gets it. He goes to Shamu and apologizes, admitting his greed was his own downfall. It's a classic business lesson, really. If you focus more on sabotaging your competition than improving your own product, you're just setting yourself up for disaster.
So, what are the big takeaways from Shamu's journey? The lessons are just so timeless, right? Integrity finds its reward, sometimes in ways you'd never expect. Greed and envy will eventually destroy you from the inside out. True success is built on hard work, not shortcuts. And maybe the biggest one of all, kindness, even when you feel you have nothing left to give, can be the most powerful investment you ever make. And that brings us to a final thought. The story uses a magical herb, but that's really a metaphor, isn't it? So I want to leave you with this question. What's the unique quality you have? The kindness, the integrity, the specific skill that's all yours? What is your magical herb that when you use it for good can lead to your own success?